Another case of a boss thinking they own your time. I resigned from a job I had for 2 years at a small family company with a single boss, owner. Boss and I got on well, and for most of my time there I was the only employee. One other employee at the time of resignation. I would have liked to think he was a friend that happened to also be my boss. I liked the job but was underpaid, plus I wanted to switch careers, so when I got another offer I decided to leave. My contract stated a 2-week notice period was required. Immediately after handing notice, the boss says, "Okay, 2 weeks won't be enough time. You'll need to stay until I've found a replacement and you've trained them." I was a little shocked by this, but stated that I was only required to give 2 weeks and would be happy to train someone during that time. Then he had to take a call and waved me off. We didn't talk about it for about a week when I asked when he would be hiring a replacement. He said, "I haven't started advertising yet. You're going to need to stay for at least 3 weeks after I hire someone to train them." I told him that my last day was next week as stated in my notice letter. He once again brushed me off and went off to do something else. We haven't talked about it again, and the last day of my notice is tomorrow. No replacement has been hired and I'll be leaving anyway. The fact that he has blatantly ignored my notice period and assumes I'll wait around until he's hired someone has completely ruined the relationship. Thanks for reading my rant. Just needed to vent this out. My last job wanted 3 months notice in order to find a replacement. I said, "Cool. You'll just match my salary and my new job for that entire time?" I left a week later. Had this happen at a previous job. Gave a month's notice. Recommended a girl I worked with as my replacement. She was new but good. Needed confirmation on her promotion before I could train her on everything, as there were several duties I had that the client didn't want anyone other than the supervisor to have access to. Granted, depending on how busy we were, I probably could have trained her in 2 days. But it was our busy time of year, so a week was likely necessary. And that was for someone who already knew the rest of the job. A new hire would take longer. After a week I asked if she got the job or if they hired anyone. No answer. Second week I asked again. No answer. Third week I asked again. Said they were still deciding. Start of last week I told them I needed to know ASAP so I could get with the client's IT department and get her user account set up, or start training my replacement. 2 weeks late. Client required 80 hours of training. No answer. Friday. Last day. Around 2 p.m. Hour before I was done. I get a call from my boss telling me my replacement would be in on Monday for training. I asked who was going to train them. I was an hour from being done. He told me I would have to stay on for another week to do it. Told him that wasn't happening. Starting new job on Monday. Not true, but who cares? He then decided I was going to work the weekend to train her as much as possible. Again, no, not happening. He started whining about not having enough time and how I agreed to train my replacement. I gave them exactly 28 days and they dragged their feet until the last day, yet somehow it was my fault they weren't going to have someone ready. Give us an update tomorrow, please. LMAO, rolling on the floor laughing the way he downplayed. You should make it easier for you to walk out on him. You've done nothing wrong. On your last day, tell him goodbye and good luck as you're changing job. Then grab your phone as if talking to someone about leaving your current job, starting new job. Brush him off as he complains. You are not an indentured servant. He will scream and kick that you need to work when you don't show up. Don't bother responding unless you feel like becoming an independent contractor and charge an insane amount of money for your time. Go 10 to 20x your current pay, with payment up front. The fact that he is refusing to even start the hiring process is his problem. It was actually his problem to not have someone who could cover already working there, but we know he is not good at planning. Go about your day like nothing has changed and be happy and nice to him. That way tomorrow he will be even more floored. I once gave my job 31 days notice because my new job was waiting for their year inventory to end. During that time I adequately trained and instructed my replacement in how I did everything. Notes included. I was a hustler and bustler and normally did things alone efficiently, so there was a lot of timing with tasks I had to go over. Heard after I left the boss got flustered since I wasn't there to pick up slack and just told everyone I quit with 0 notice, and that's why she wasn't prepared. Goes to show even if you go above and beyond for leaving, sometimes it just doesn't fucking matter. Had my boss do the same thing. I give 1 week as courtesy. She was a bitch. And then she's like that. But why 1 week? You have to think about your coworkers. Think about how bad you'll leave me. My answer: I can leave now if you're not happy. That didn't bother me at my shifts for the next 2 weeks. I don't think anyone should have to put in 2 weeks notice unless there is a stipulation that they have to give you 2 weeks notice to fire you. Under any circumstances. Happened to me. Gave 30-day notice. Owner kinda brushed it off after a heated argument. On my last week I ask him on payroll day, when the accountant shows up, if he has let him know. He acted confused and said I never gave notice. I left 2 days later after he realized he goofed by ignoring my notice. My last boss did this. I was asked by her boss to give 3 weeks as I was a department manager and needed to transition and train others on some of my duties. I agreed. He said my boss would follow up. Spent the next 3 weeks waiting for her to come to me with what they need. Spent that time writing up instructions on how to do things to be helpful since I knew she wasn't going to come to me. She was uber bitter I was quitting. On my last day, the woman that was taking on most of my role came to me with a question and was shocked and grateful I had written up all these instructions. My boss told her I was refusing to help. Like I'd stay for 3 weeks if I didn't want to help. At that point I grabbed my box of personal stuff and left. Wow. The dude is dense. He'll figure it out when you don't show up. Not your monkeys. Not your circus. You did the appropriate thing. If he hasn't looked for a replacement, that's his problem, not yours. Good luck with the new job. I hope it's better. Offer to train the new employee for an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. I'm a programmer and every time I've given 2 weeks notice I run around asking people what I should do with my last 2 weeks. Document code, clean up tech debt, etc. Every single time I've been ignored for 2 weeks and then pulled in for a meeting the morning of my last day to get a bunch of urgent stuff done that only I know how to do. If he tries to contact you the day after tomorrow, ghost him. We need an update the day you don't show up after your notice. Sounds like he is fucking around. And about to find out. I've been to a couple companies that have a policy that when you hand in your 2 weeks, it's your last day and they freeze you accounts. I don't know if they think you're going to just goof around and put a virus on the server, but if you're counting on the 2 weeks of pay, you're out of luck. Some places don't look for a replacement for people retiring until a couple weeks before the person leaves, and if the replacement does work out, the next one doesn't have anyone to show them how to do the job. Just do what's best for you. That's what most businesses do anyway, and it's sad because employees used to be treated better and longtime ones were valued. Agreed at consult, the hiring of a new employee for a large but realistic day rate. If he agrees, write up a contract that includes any communication will designate the beginning of 1 day charged. This will limit any post-work interactions and pay you for your time.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.